So I go right up to the lash line, and I'm going to also show you, I also do, if they don't have permanent makeup. Now, if anybody has permanent makeup or microblading or any of that, you avoid their eyebrows altogether. If they don't, I actually do a little brow lift, and it gives them a little bit of a lift there. So I'll show you that in a minute. But you don't want to go down into their eye area, but if you stay on just this kind of rim area, it's a great way to kind of pull the skin up and get them to get a little bit of an eye lift as well. So
pull the skin up while you're
like I like to just kind of grab it with my, or if you're really having a slippery problem, you can grab, you know, your gauze or whatever, and then just put your finger and pull it up. But yes, because I don't want to be right down on their thing. Plus it just kind of gives them a better lift that respect, you know. And I like when I'm going down the nose and the eye, I squirt up here so that I make sure I don't squirt into their eye. And tomorrow when we're doing it with PRP, I am sure I will squirt into somebody's eye, but the good news is it's PRP because it's a little trickier when you're using the needles to shoot out the PRP than just using these vials, you know, the
What's the risk with microblading over, microneedling over the microbladed area?
The only risk is you will pull out color.
Oh.
So there is no risk other than you'll just mess up their color. In fact, if you want to get rid of permanent makeup ever, it's great to do that. In fact, there's studies that they've done microneedling before tattoo removal. They've done microneedling with, they've actually put just microneedled and then pulled out some color by putting like gauze with Vaseline on it, and it pulls out some tattoo ink as well. But if if any of you happen to have a tattoo removal machine, it's actually great to microneedle before you do your treatments because it fractionates up the pigment and then it comes up easier. So I've seen great results with both. I've never done a half face with either to really see that 100% what it is, and I think that's the only way you could really get that full result because everybody's skin is so different, right? So, you know, that is the part that's hard with that question. A lot of times people make that, it's kind of what they want. It's what they can afford, what they want, you know, both. I do highly think PRP works, and I think it's fantastic, but I also know it works very well with serum as well. So again, that's where I fall into that category. But here's where I'm doing her eye lift, and I'm just kind of doing right through that kind of brow area. And again, it actually, nice thing, most women know that our brow hair starts getting less as we get older, so it's kind of nice to kind of engage that as well. And then the lower eyelid, I just like to pull down, and I do. Now, if you ever get it where somebody's wrinklier there, or like right now, I could use a little more serum there so it glides a little better. But if somebody's super wrinkly right there, what I like to do, I pull down and then I just stamp out, okay? So I'm just stamping out around it because then I'm not pulling on their tissue right there. So if you get it and it's gliding, great, and you can go right, like I said, up to that lash line. If people have dark circles, great again. But again, just you can stamp right there and just get right to those wrinkles that bother people and get right up there, and that's the nice part with it. But again, you see how I slow down and I go really carefully there. So just remember that when you get there, don't just go, whoa, I'm gonna do their eyes. Just slow down and make sure you're careful when you're doing those kind of things. I have treated people with filler under the eyes, and I've never seen it move around or a problem. If anything, what it does is it probably smooth it more than anything. Because again, you're just kind of, you know, breaking up some of that noduleness and getting it to release and relax. But once it's settled, you're also not going to have any of it come out or, you know, dissipate more because you're needling it. In fact, you know, one of the things I always tell people with filler, half the reason that their lips, I mean, when people are injecting lips get swollen anyway because of the inflammation, right? Same thing with the microneedling. So right when you finish your lips or you finish anywhere you're getting filler, you do have some of your residual, because what I've noticed in all these years of being around a lot of filler and Botox, the filler stays longer usually the more you've gotten it, right? Like the first time you get it, it dissipates quicker than it keeps doing it. And I think it's the residual of the microneedling. It's an injection, right, needle, but it is the piercing of the skin that causes that collagen to actually to build as well. So when you're injecting somebody's lips, you know, I used to say that most times fillers last, you know, however long, but the longer you keep getting it over the years, and the residual filler shouldn't be holding, so it must be the needles puncturing your skin, and that's actually what's holding some of that plumpness as well, or I think so.